Hello and welcome back to the Villa View for another match preview as Aston Villa host Derby County at Villa Park this weekend. So obviously Derby won their last game against Cardiff in midweek, that now puts them back into the top six. So big game for Derby, big game for Villa. How do you see this one going, Matt?
Well, before the Cardiff game midweek, I'd have said that this is a Villa victory because Derby have been on a rotten run of form that's seen them drop out of the playoffs until Tuesday night. But typically, before playing Aston Villa, a team's decided to get a result out of nowhere, and it was a great result as well. The way they turned it around was really sort of admirable, I must say, of a side that's clearly trying to rejuvenate itself and find some form again against going into the playoffs. And to play Cardiff and then to play us, it's no better time for us to try and find momentum. But I think we've got to try and stunt it the best we can, and we've got to look at realistically the goals that Cardiff conceded for Derby to win weren't the greatest. So I'd hope to think that we could defend a little bit better than Cardiff did in those sort of last 20 minutes where Derby came through against them on Tuesday night.
So Derby's a little bit near your neck of the woods up in Nottingham, of course. Have you seen much of Derby this season?
I've seen the odd game, I must admit, just because it's easier to watch a Derby game, as bad as it sounds, than it is a Villa game up here, just in terms of the games that pubs decide to show and whatever else. Saw them against Preston a few months back and they were okay at times. I watched the full game against Cardiff on Tuesday evening where, to be honest, Vydra was on the bench to start with. Obviously, Vydra's their top goal scorer this season. I think he's their top goal scorer for one campaign that they've had for like 10 years or something daft like that. Okay. So he's a real massive threat. And I think that anyone that looks at that team sheet will tell you that Vydra is the threat. And we have to contain Vydra. And if we do that, then I think there's not too much we have to be too concerned about. Tom Lawrence, obviously, another man that we have to contain. But for me, it's all about Vydra.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Vydra.
God's sake.
Good timing. So I was going to ask you about Vydra specifically. I noted down, I think he's got 22 goals this season, so obviously one to watch out for, like you said. How much do you rate him as a player and the season he's had?
He's just a bright spark. He's one of those that can work on his own. I admire any striker that is a workhorse, but has got the power and energy as well to be that lone man on his top or to play out wide, and he can do it all. He's a bit like Codger in that sense, actually. He's got a bit of pace about him, and he's got the sort of knack of scoring goals as well, and could play in the Premier League, I think, quite competently, just like Codger. So I see him in that esteem of player. I think he's up there as one of the best in the Championship, so we definitely have to be aware of them.
Obviously, a returning villain as well in Andy Weimann. If I remember right from the old tweets video, you're a big fan of Andy, aren't you?
Yeah, I do think that Andy Weimann, we should never have sold him. Well, obviously we should have, but I think that Andy will always pose as a threat. I think he scored, didn't he, in the return game earlier on in the season at Pride Park as well. So he's got that going for him as well. I'm sure he'd love to score one at Villa Park as well, especially if it was in front of the Hull 10. So you've got to be wary of him. And I think that Gary Rowe would probably be tempted to start with Weimann just for that basis, the fact that he knows that Weimann knows the territory, he knows what can cause the problems just from the basis that it's at Villa Park.
So it's our final home league game of the season, obviously with the playoff home leg to come at some point. How important has our home form been this season, and how important will it continue to be with that home playoff leg looking likely?
I was going to correct you there. It's a home playoff leg. You said it like it was a certainty just a minute ago.
I know.
But still, hold on. There's a little bit of glimmer of hope. Obviously, we all know realistically it's not going to happen that we're going to get promoted through the promotion places. But yeah, I think that our home form is so pivotal right now, and I think that it's what we've sort of gone off a lot of the time last season more than this season, because even so, last season our away form wasn't great. It's only this season that we've corrected that away form. So I think that for me, the home form has always been something that has always bugs me, because you should be winning at home. There's no excuses for going out at home and not putting on a performance. You should always be looking to win those games, and I don't think you should ever go into a home game saying, right, it would be good to get a point out of this. For me, especially in the Championship for Villa, like a side like Villa, we should look into every home game and go, yeah, let's go and win this. And there's points of this season where I've walked away from Villa Park and thought, we should have won that one. There's been plenty of encounters where we've just been up to scratch. There's so many occasions this season where I've walked away from Villa Park a bit frustrated in terms of our home performance, where I think we've deserved to give the fans a lot more, the players have. So it'd be nice to see that on Saturday going into the playoffs.
Talking about a final home game, I'm not sure whether you saw Gabby Bonahor's Instagram post in the week. I think he put something like it was a sad day at Villa Park, something like that. Obviously, we know that his time at Villa is coming to an end this season. Without setting you off too much, what do you make of that with Gabby, the whole situation?
Well, Bert's reason, yes, actually, that possibly sums it up quite well is that it's going to be a bittersweet moment. I think for many that are there, including myself, just because this man has got so many good memories with this football club and done so many good things in terms of scoring against the Blues and helping out with Mo and helping out with the AFC Foundation. But then he's done so much bad as well that counteracts this. So for me, it's a bittersweet moment. It'll be good to have him off the books in terms of financially, but it's bittersweet because it's more of what could have been than what has been for me.
You know, with it being Gabby's last game, people that aren't his fan know that he won't be here next season, so there's no point, getting on his back and things like that. I'm sure the Villa fans will come together and give him a good send-off if he does feature in the game. Is it likely, do you think, that there's a place on the bench for Gabby this weekend just because of that?
I think it's a 99% guarantee, to be honest. He's been training with the first team again this week. Lots of photos of him training with them. So I reckon that he will be on the bench this weekend, just as that one final finale.
So if you were manager, like I asked you in the other preview, what would you be doing this weekend?
I think there's a good basis for rotation. I don't think you should be making more than 4 changes. I think as soon as you make more than 4 changes, you're ruining the momentum in terms of the squad structure and who you're playing. So anything more than 4, anything that disrupts the defence too much, you want to be keeping your defence as structured as possible. So if John Terry can play the 2 games, then by all means play him. But I think having him in the last game of the season is more important than this one. So playing him against Millwall, for example. So we've got that little bit more structure. So for me, yeah, a bit of rotation would be nice, a bit of resting some of the players, but I would edge on the side of caution in terms of the amount of changes that are actually made, and don't get too silly and over complacent with them.
Obviously, we're recording this before a press conference, so we don't know any specific details yet, but Snodgrass and Adoma were arrested last game. Terry and Codger are also out. So is it a chance that we bring those back in now?
Yeah, I think that possibly you've got to. Snodgrass in particular and Adoma, these two had sort of fell out of form slightly, I'd say, argue, over the last few weeks or so. So bringing those back in now, let's get them 2 good games against 2 tough sides, 2 promotion-chasing sides as well. Play them against them, get them back in form, and then they'll really find their tunes when it comes to the playoff 2 legs and, all being well, the final as well.
We'll go for prediction then. I think last time we both said 2 and 3-0 against Ipswich, and obviously it was 4. So yeah, we got the result right, not the score. So what do you think for this weekend?
I've predicted already. My fans score ahead of it already. Anyway, I'm going to predict 2-1 to Villa against Derby, with the first goal scorer being Glenn Whelan.
I love a left field shout, you know me. I'll go 2-0. I think I like to think that we'll get a clean sheet at home. I think the tougher game, like you said, will be Millwall away on the last day. Derby at home, I'm going to go 2-0, and I'll go for Adoma to score. Get him back in the team, get him on the score sheet again. So thanks once again to Matt Lynch for joining me on this preview once again. Hopefully you enjoyed the insight Matt gave us ahead of Derby County this weekend. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also leave a comment with your thoughts ahead of the game. If you missed the video that we posted yesterday about the Football Blogging Awards nomination, we've made the final 10 in the category Best Podcast. In yesterday's video we explained how you can vote for us in that process, and also had a little look back at some of the best bits of the podcast this season. So go and check that out if you haven't already. There'll be a link in the description and also on the screen at the end. We appreciate all the support on the channel, so thank you very much for sticking with us. Thanks for watching this video, and up the Villa.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.